Hi, Rob Mealy here, coming to you from Chaparral Park in Scottsdale, Arizona, with the beautiful lake behind me, the great views of Camelback Mountain. This is one of my favorite places to come and just run, walk, think, or in this case, shoot a video for you. So today we are going to talk about water. Why? Well, it's been all over the news for the past couple of weeks that Arizona's running out of water. So I've gotten several questions asking how exactly this is going to affect housing. So let's get into a little bit. Just under 2 weeks ago, Katie Hobbs and her team did a press conference to talk about water. During that press conference, they made an announcement that they had just completed a new groundwater study for the state of Arizona, in particular here in the Phoenix area. And the press conference was called to announce the findings of that study and some of the changes that were going to be made. The press conference itself lasted about 25 minutes. Katie talked for about 7 of those. The rest of it was a Q&A session. And I posted a link below to this to the email so that you can take a look at that if you want to go directly to the source. Clearly, the mainstream media didn't watch that video, or if they did, they certainly put their own spin on it. So here's some of the headlines that have come out of that 25-minute press conference. I'm going to go ahead and read them so that I get them correct here. From the New York Times, Arizona limits construction around the Phoenix area as its water supply dwindles. Okay. From CNN, Arizona announces limits on construction in the Phoenix area as groundwater disappears. Pretty much the same headline, but CNN goes a little bit further. Here's the first line of the article that they put in there. Arizona officials announced Thursday the state will no longer grant certifications for new developments within the Phoenix area as groundwater rapidly disappears amid years of water overuse and climate change driven drought. So pretty scary headlines. The local media and other media outlets picked up those articles and ran with them. And so now the main theme out there is Arizona's running out of water. So what was really in the press conference? As I mentioned, the Arizona Department of Water Resources did conduct a study using the latest technology to evaluate the groundwater supply in and around the Phoenix area. What was the result of that study? Well, if we do nothing different, if we use the same water supplies that we've been using, if we grow at the same pace that we have over the last several years, then we are going to have about a 4% shortfall in our groundwater system over the course of the next 100 years. Now, that's not to say that that's insignificant, but that's also not the attention-grabbing headlines that we've seen over the past couple of weeks. I'd like to think that as technology evolves, as we get better at water conservation, and we make some changes between now and then, that we can make up for some of that 4% shortfall by the year 21-23. That said, Arizona does have a law that's been on the books since the 1980s that says that any builder of new homes has to be able to show at least a 100-year supply of water to the community before they'll be issued a building certificate. We're the only state in the Southwest that has that law, and it's there to ensure that there's going to be plenty of water for that development moving forward. So that said, the announcement that was made a week ago Thursday does say that developers that are considering new homes, they're going to have to be able to find alternative sources other than groundwater in order to come up with that 100-year supply. Now, there are a lot of different ways that they can come up with water, but temporarily, based off of this report, groundwater is not going to be able to be used for that 100-year certificate. That's going to ensure that there's, and it's basically going to force the builders to come up with some alternative ways of finding water. Now, this new ruling does not affect commercial, it does not affect industrial, it does not affect multifamily units. This is only for new single-family permits that have not already been issued. Now, there have been 80,000 permits that have been issued in the past. This will not affect those permits. So based on our current building, which is about 20,000 homes per year, we have about a 4-year backlog of homes already in the pipeline. So this is not going to be something that affects Arizona's growth right away. Katie made mention a couple of different times that this is only a temporary measure while they explore some alternative ideas. But the bottom line is there's going to be growth for a while, but this could affect our future growth if they don't come up with some changes. And that's why there was another announcement made by Katie Hobbs during this press conference. It's probably the real reason she was holding the press conference. But they are investing $40 million right away. She's calling that a down payment on what's called the Arizona Water Resiliency Fund. This is going to be a fund, and yes, there's probably going to be a lot more money spent in it down the road, but this is going to be a program that they are going to be working on specifically to come up with alternative forms of water to sustain our growth. Now, she said over and over again in this press conference, the growth story in Arizona is not over. We are not slowing down growth, but we do have to make some changes if we want to be sustainable for the next several decades. So here's the bottom line. We live in a desert and it's been dry. Arizona's been the fastest growing metro city in the country. That's likely to continue. This is a great place to live, a great place to do business, and people are moving here almost in record numbers. Fortunately, we had a very wet year. Lots of rain, lots of snow. Our lakes and rivers and reservoirs are basically back to full, but that can change pretty quickly. So if we do nothing, we could have a problem down the road. This study has obviously indicated that we've got to do something, maybe not right away, but we're going to have to start curbing what we've been doing if we want to maintain the same type of growth rate and sustainability that we have for the past few decades. So bottom line is, I think we're going to be okay. 2021, 23 is a long ways away. We have plenty of time to find alternative sources of water, whether it's through desalination, better water capture, or who knows what other technology is going to be available down the road. So that's it for me. Everybody have a great day.